Hi, I'm Erin Lundy.
And I'm Madeline Walden, and this is
Aquarium of the Podcific,
a podcast brought to you by Aquarium of the Pacific, Southern California's largest aquarium.
Join us as we learn alongside the experts in animal care, conservation, and more.
Welcome back to Aquarium of the Podcific. I'm Madeline Walden, the aquarium's digital content and community manager.
And I'm Erin Lundy, the conservation coordinator for mammals and birds.
I'm really excited about today's episode. We have one of my favorite people at the aquarium, Keisha Leonard. She is a supervisor in our environmental services department. And you might be wondering, what is the environmental services department? The environmental services department is responsible for the care and keeping around the aquarium. So it was formerly housekeeping. Now it's environmental services because they do so much more. Actually, it's inside and outside that they are constantly maintaining and cleaning and keeping the space beautiful and also safe for our guests, which we'll talk more about in today's episode.
Yeah, it's been really wonderful to work so closely with this department that does so much. And I think that they're sometimes the unsung heroes of the aquarium in general.
100%.
They do so much. Everything is so pristinely kept. And every time I know that something is slightly amiss, they are immediately there.
Oh, yeah. If there is something smudged onto one of the exhibits, that team is on it in minutes. It's like they're just hovering. They're ready to strike at any moment.
Team of superheroes, honestly.
Truly.
Every little thing, they're like, I actually know exactly how to clean this. I'm like, I don't.
idea.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how to help. So as much as they have a lot of different things to work on, we were so fortunate to have Keisha on and get to talk to her about sort of what her job looks like and some of the more fun aspects of what she does. So it's a great episode.
I think it's a really fun look inside of working at the aquarium and what it's like to be on our staff. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear. It's on an animal focus episode, but it's a really cool inside look into aquarium operations. And Keisha's just wonderful. I'm really excited for everybody to get to know her too. And with that, we'll get into our episode. All right, everybody. I want to welcome Keisha Leonard, our environmental services supervisor, onto the podcast today. Hi, Keisha.
Hi.
Hello. Can you tell us a little bit about your job here at the aquarium?
Yes. Do you want me to start from the beginning? Or
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I started working here. Do I start like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I started working here in April of 05, April 13th of 05. And when I started, I was just a regular housekeeper. It wasn't environmental services then. It was called housekeeping. And after 2 months of working here, they asked me to be an alternate lead.
Oh, wow.
Because you're that good.
And I was shocked.
Surprised.
I was literally shocked. At that time, they would call the leads housekeeping one. One day I came in, and my name was up there on the schedule. They didn't tell you? They didn't even tell me. They didn't ask me. They didn't tell me. I was like, you're going to be housekeeping one. And I saw it. And my my supervisor at the time, I called her because she wasn't there. And I was like, I think you made a mistake on the schedule. She was like, no,
You're in charge.
You can do it.
Yeah.
So
That was how long?
that was in 05.
05?
That was in 05.
Couple months.
So within a couple months, you were already...
Yeah, after 2 months. After 2 months of working here.
That's
Love that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She saw something in me that I didn't see, but
Oh,
I don't regret it.
yeah.
That's awesome. So then what?
And then after 2 years of working here, I became a full-time lead.
That's awesome.
And I worked swing shift. I worked 3 to 11:30. And I did all the events, all the parties. I was here when we did the first night dive.
Really?
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
What was the first night dive like?
It was unexpected because they didn't expect as many people to show up.
Oh, wow.
I think they only had like 1 or 2 bars, and they were lines
Overloaded.
Yes.
So for people who don't know what night dive is, it's my favorite event that
It's
we
a
do
party.
at the aquarium.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's a party. So it's adults only. It's 18 and over. We have bars. We have a live band. We have DJs in the galleries. There's usually an art component. It's just a really fun night at the aquarium. We have a couple coming up. There's about 6 a year. So whenever you're listening to this, there's likely one right around the corner. But it is a really cool event. And I'm super jealous that I missed the very first one.
Yes,
I don't know
me
if
too.
I was 18 yet, though. The first one happened. But
Yeah, my favorite one is New Year's Eve one. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. I
the
love it.
best. Do you
Even
get
though I'm
to-
working, I'm still here. I love it.
Yeah.
You get to shoot one of the cannons, right?
Yeah.
The confetti
Oh,
cannons.
yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
You
know
haven't-
that.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been here for New Year's
You
Eve
gotta
party
be here
yet.
on New Year's Eve.
You have to
I
come.
gotta.
It's nice.
You can shoot a
Especially
confetti
if there's,
cannon.
well, no, Keisha does that.
Well, there's more than one.
All the
There's
practically all the
several.
staff that are working that night get to do the cannons. Yeah.
Except me, because I got to record you guys doing it. But it's still fun.
Yeah.
You
Even
should
from
just
my angle.
record it from your perspective of shooting the cannon. I think that would be-
POV. You're shooting a confetti cannon on New
Perfect.
Year's Eve at the Aquarium in the Pacific.
Hey, good
Right.
work.
It could
That's
work.
cool.
So, okay, so you did the first night dive. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I worked nights for 6 years, and then the lead in the daytime, she retired, and so I went to day shift.
Nice.
And I don't know if it was like after 8, 9 years working here, I was promoted to a supervisor, and so that's where I've been ever since.
You're almost coming up on your 20th.
Yeah,
Huh?
no,
Oh.
19. I'm coming on 19.
19.
Yeah,
Got it.
in April.
In April, yeah. And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Mhm.
Ugh, so cool. How was the transition from working nights to days? Do you have a preference? Do you kind of like,
Well, now
I mean, I'm sure there's pros and cons to both, you know?
Well, I've been working days longer than I did nights, so I like days more now, better. Yeah. Some people, they would ask me, because for a while, I would work nights once a month. And so I worked days, and then we would switch, me and the supervisor. Well, there was a lead at night. We would switch. And some of the staff would, which one you like better? Which one you like better? I'm like, I like my check better.
That's what I like.
That's what I like. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Do you have any spooky stories that happened? My favorite time to be here is at night. I think it can be a little spooky sometimes, but it's really beautiful at night too.
Yeah.
At least while the lights are still on.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, what is it like when the lights are off?
it's weird.
Is it scary?
It's
it's
pretty
a-
scary.
Because in the galleries, it gets pitch dark in there.
Oh, really?
And sometimes we have to go through Tropical to go to the laundry room.
Ooh.
And if you're in the midst of walking and the lights go out, sometimes I would like stop in mid range, like, oh my gosh, because you can't see.
Yeah.
You can't see in front of you.
Oh my goodness.
But one story I have, it was before they remodeled the gift store, Pacific Collections, and we have to go in there and clean their vents sometimes. So I'm up on a ladder on the far side of the store, closest to gate 10, the walkway, and I'm up on the ladder, and all of a sudden, a book from the far side by the Great Hall comes off the shelf.
Just one book?
Just one book.
Ooh.
And
What was the book?
I didn't go. You know what? I don't even think I went over there to.
You're like, I'm good. I don't need to know.
But that was the only one that, crazy story for me, like scary.
That is scary. Why is
Yeah.
it just one book? What happened? I don't like that.
Oh my god. There's a couple of ghost stories around
We
the
should
aquarium.
Yeah, there is.
Ghost
We should
episode.
do a ghost stories
Aquarium
episode.
ghost episode. Keisha's on it.
No, I'm not. I'm not signing up for that.
Part of that? That's so funny. I think something that would surprise me about the aquarium is that we do have a laundry room.
Yeah.
Like that's just
Yeah.
something that I wouldn't even think about. There's actually several laundering areas around the
There
aquarium.
is, yeah.
A lot of stuff we gotta wash.
I know.
I know.
I didn't think about it. I also think it's really funny that I feel like the majority of the items that you clean with are actually baby diapers, right?
Yeah, we do use baby diapers. You'd be surprised how good they clean the acrylic, and they clean glass, and they dry up spills quicker too. When they absorb the babies.
And they're reusable. We're not
reusable.
using, diapers, but it's so funny because sometimes we'll be walking around and just hear someone like, "Oh, can you grab me a diaper?" And it's just like one of those things that I have to remind myself, like, no, that's normal here. That's
Right.
That's something that's normal.
We probably say that in front of guests all the time
Oh,
too.
for
you know,
sure.
like, hey, can you go grab me a diaper real
Right.
quick? And like one of those guests, we mean
We're a big family here at the
Yeah.
Aquarium Pacific.
Right.
Whatever you need, you can ask anyone in a blue shirt. They
can you
got
give me a diaper, please? I guess I never really appreciate it. So I just know them as like, they're like white rags that we used to clean. And I know we call them diapers, but I don't think I made the leap in my head that they are actually used typically as like cloth diapers.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just never.
It was before your time. Before your time.
I think I was a disposables baby, which is probably not great for the environment.
Probably
but,
not.
but hey, now we
It wasn't
have.
your choice.
You don't know that. You don't know how old I was.
Baby.
It was last year.
That is your choice. You
Yeah,
know what?
that's my choice.
I approve of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Can you grab me a diaper? Never thought that phrase
Yeah,
was weird.
I hear that 17 times a day.
Maybe you should do something about that. That feels like a personal
Because
problem.
I'm
And to know-
saying it.
and for you to know how many times a day, like, okay, yeah, you need to work on that.
17's kind of a lot, Madeline. I don't know what's going on with you.
Listen, I'm figuring things out. You know, it's been...
Grab me a diaper 17 times a day.
Right.
Well, back to Keisha. What do you think are some things about your job that would surprise our listeners?
Oh my gosh. That we also do like gardening around here. We when they say environmental services, we do a lot.
The full environment.
Yeah, the full
inside
environment.
and out.
Like I'm responsible to water the plants in the front,
Really?
and then we go through and we cut the weeds in Shark
Yeah.
Lagoon. We cut branches that are overgrowing sometimes. We cut the weeds around the front plaza. So yeah, I think that would be surprised because we,
Yeah.
housekeeping, but we
Yeah.
also go out and do gardening as well.
External keeping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Outside the house.
It's true. Well, yeah, I mean, on top of that, I've seen your team on the
The boom lift,
the boom lift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cleaning the glass.
the blue glass, yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, we're
outside of the
responsible for
aquarium.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and making it very beautiful.
And I cleaned the one inside, the blue glass inside, on the scissor lift.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I personally cleaned that one myself.
Is it nice, like the view from up there, though? Like if you look down, or is it more scary because it's so high up there?
Well, it depends on how high you are, because the view can look nice when you're at a certain level.
Yeah.
But when you get, I'm not trying to look down. I just want to do what I need to do up here and come down.
You're like, I'm not trying to be up here actually
Right.
for very long. That's fair. I just always see y'all up there, and I'm just like, wow, that is such a crazy component of your job to be like 50 feet in the air.
Yeah.
cleaning
Yeah.
The glass outside.
Fairly often, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often does the PV glass get cleaned?
We don't have a set schedule. I would say as needed.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say as needed.
Is there kind of like a typical day in your role, or is it really different every single time you walk in here?
No, I would say it's about the same for the most part. There are times when it changes, but for the most part, it's the same. And I think because I've been doing it for so long, it's like second nature.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So anything that takes us out of the ordinary, it does not surprise me because it's like it is the job.
Like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
another day. Well, okay. Well, speaking of things that were not in your nature and not in anyone's nature, is during the pandemic when we were closed and preparing to reopen, your team was crucial to not only keeping our staff safe, but to keeping our guests safe too. What was that like for you and your team?
Yeah, a lot
maybe
of change.
maybe from just the beginning of closing, and how was that?
It was challenging.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a lot of parts that was like so heart-wrenching. And there were a lot of times when it's like, are we ever going to open back up? But from the beginning, it was unbelievable. First
Yeah.
of all, it was unbelievable that the world was shutting down.
Yeah. It
You
was.
know, and then you're hearing all these stories. You're hearing all the news, and you're hearing all these stories, and you don't know what actually is going to happen. But I remember the day we actually had to send all of our staff home. It was sad because there was guys that we had hired, like, oh my gosh,
No.
Oh,
there were guys that we had just hired, like
Probably,
that
like, super
week, and they were
recently,
like,
yeah.
he was like, "Am I losing my job?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh," and I had to be the one to sit there and tell them, you know, that. So
Yeah.
that was really hard, and it really didn't hit me till right now when I'm talking
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
because I'm like, yeah.
Well, because I think we were all in such a just go forward.
Yeah.
Just like you can't really stop to think about it because this is something that's never happened before.
Yeah.
No.
And so it's just immediately adapting to the situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you review it, you're like, how did we go
yeah.
through?
And it was
I know.
traumatic for everyone. You know, I think we
Yeah.
had to block a lot of it out.
I
For
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
And so me and Alfie, we were here like full time. We worked 7 to 4 every day. And because me and Alfie started where we started at, we can go in the restrooms and clean them with no problem.
Yeah.
You know, so we were responsible to take care of all the restrooms. But it was a time where we had to dust all the galleries. So we dusted everywhere. We got in here, and the crew that we did have, everybody just, you know, we
hands
dusted
on deck.
every nook
Yeah.
and cranny. So then it was like a desert in here.
Yeah.
It was I remember walking through Shark Lagoon one day, and it was a windstorm. And literally we had like tumbleweeds out there.
Yeah.
Like everything had accumulated into a big old ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, we are deserted.
Yeah.
This place is deserted. So it was scary not knowing if we were going to open back up,
Yeah.
you know?
It was one of my favorite but also weirdest things during COVID is just like when we were fully closed, the animals noticed, and anytime any person would walk by, they were so interested in what we were doing because like, human, and they would just like, the penguins would chase you back and forth. And it was so weird to see these animals, like genuinely they noticed a difference and their behavior changed as a result of it. And it's just not something I ever think about of how enriching it must be for some of these animals to see people every day interact with them. And then just immediately that was gone. And so I think the penguins were one of the happiest that people came back. And then Chase, one of our sea lions in the tunnel, used to always play with people. Exactly. Time anyone walked through the tunnel, Chase would just line up and be ready to go. And
I would play with him so much during that time. I'm sure he was very heavily played with with all of the stuff. We were definitely a smaller crew, but there was people around, and so
it was weird. It was a weird time, though.
It was really weird. But that is a joyful spot for me too. And during that time, is like those interactions with the animals and seeing the aquarium empty and kind of having it to yourself in a way too.
Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah. So while we were closed, you and Alfie were mainly on site keeping up because we still had people here, and there's upkeep to do externally too, and all the things that you guys do. So how was a transition once we opened to the public?
So then we started using like these, what were they called?
I was hoping you were going to talk. I was going to say this.
I can't remember the actual name we had for it, but we had these mist guns. We would go in there and disinfect the restrooms.
Oh, wow.
And then we also made bleach water for the acrylic. We would wipe that down every hour. Oh,
every hour?
Every hour.
Oh, wow.
And every hour we would go out and disinfect the sides of the shark tanks. Did you guys ever see us with the generators?
Yeah, the steamer.
Yeah, the steamer. Yeah. That was challenging. Very challenging because we'd have to move everybody back.
Yeah.
We would do Shark Lagoon and the Rays. So that was really challenging.
You guys are such an important department, really keeping us safe, especially during such a scary time where, like surfaces are scary.
Right.
Touching anything is scary.
Yeah.
But, it's so wonderful that we were able to reopen and have our, our visitors back on site and also be able to keep them safe at the same time. So we have your team to thank for that.
Yeah.
Yay,
really.
Team.
We appreciate it so much.
I was hoping you were going to talk about those Mr. Guns because they look cool. Do you guys still use them at all? Or?
No, we haven't used them in a while.
Yeah.
No.
Is it just like a disinfectant?
We use them up. They don't even work anymore.
We used them.
They're gone.
Disintegrated. That's so funny. I think people would be really surprised to learn about all of the ways your department has to adapt to the strange surfaces we do have here, because we have acrylic, which can't be scrubbed or it can't have abrasive, right, so that's something you have to be really mindful of. And then of course on top of that you have the health and safety of our animals to consider, right? So what are some things and what are some precautions you guys have to take for those what other people wouldn't do at their normal job?
So like in Shark Lagoon, we do the glass out there. There's different glass like at the Animal Care Center, and then the jellyfish. So we use water. We have to use water because we can't cross-contaminate, especially like over water viewing where the sharks are. We have to use water because if you use the 543, the glass cleaner, it would get in the tank and cross-contaminate. So we use the water, the squeegee, and we do it about 17 times a day.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we do it about 17 times a day.
Yeah.
Now with the acrylic, we use diapers because towels will scratch it. You know how
that's why we use it. It's not necessarily like they're just absorbent. It's that they're softer.
The
that
towels
makes
will
sense.
scratch it. We cannot use towels on the acrylic. We have to use diapers. We don't use squeegees on the acrylic because that can scratch it as well.
Wow.
We're very, mindful of what we use on the acrylic.
Fascinating.
And we put a wet diaper on there, and then you go over it with a dry one. And it gets the fingerprints and everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of animals, do you get to interact with animals a lot in your position, or do you have any fun animal stories? Do you have a favorite animal?
I love the sea otters. They are so cute. But they don't interact with me that much unless I'm walking through early in the morning.
They're like, Keisha.
They do that, though. Like, if in the first thing in the morning, that's my favorite time to see them because they're just like,
they perk up and they chase you.
Are you here to feed me? No. All right. No. Never mind. Yeah.
But I do have a favorite animal. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe. I'm sorry, Michael. No. Michael is a parrotfish in tropical. his name is Michael. I named him Michael accidentally.
You,
And so, do you guys don't have?
I
tell
haven't heard
us
of
how you accidentally named
Is
the
it the
fish,
big,
Michael.
the big parrotfish?
Yeah, the big parrotfish.
Beautiful.
He is beautiful.
Michael
Michael?
is
That is my
stunning.
favorite fish. Oh my gosh!
Can you please tell
And-
me how you accidentally
Yes.
named him?
I'm going to tell you how I accidentally. It was during COVID.
Yep.
It was during- okay. So, I had read up on him to see. You know, I like that his defense mechanism. He covers himself in a what is it? A mask, like a gel.
Oh.
A mucus.
A mucus, yeah.
Mhm.
And he eats coral, and his teeth are in the back of his neck.
So he can like
Yeah,
chew it
yeah,
on the
yeah,
way
yeah.
down kind of thing? All right.
So Nate was coming through. Nate from Husbandry, he's coming through, and we're right there. And I can't remember exactly what words we exchanged, but I thought he said his name was Michael.
I like the idea of Nate, who's our like senior director of husbandry, being like, "Yeah, that's Michael." It's like,
But like I said, I can't remember the conversation we were having, but I heard Michael.
therefore,
And so,
So
Wow.
he's been
Michael.
Michael ever since. So some of the staff from Husbandry, they, like, okay, we'll call him Michael.
Yeah.
So every time someone who doesn't know Michael comes through there, I introduce them to Michael.
this is Michael.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, well, if you come visit the Aquarium of the Pacific and you go into our tropical gallery, Michael is located inside of our coral predators habitat.
Is he
That's
the
what it's
biggest
called.
one?
He's the big, beautiful
Yes,
parrotfish.
he's
You
so
can't
beautiful.
miss him. He's
Yeah.
stunning.
You'll know Michael.
You'll
when you
know
see
him.
him.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He even looks like a Michael.
He gives Michael energy. Big Michael vibes.
Shout out to all the Michaels out there.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
Right.
You look like you,
look
create
like
a lot of
Big,
mucus,
beautiful
and you have
parrotfish covered in mucus.
you look like you have teeth in your throat. To every Michael out there, congratulations on pooping sand.
Oh my
boy.
gosh, that's amazing. That's
Good Michaels
incredible.
out there.
Yep,
That's
I
a
love
good
that.
story. So Michael's your favorite.
Michael's my favorite.
I get that.
He is so beautiful.
He might be my favorite now too.
Yeah.
I know. I think so. I think
When
he's
you
definitely
leave here, you need to go up to
We're gonna
Tropical
go see
and
Michael
check out
after
Michael.
this.
We're gonna go on a
Yeah.
Michael field trip. We should make a TikTok about Michael.
We really should.
Now that we know,
You're right. You're right. I learned so much of this podcast, including about Michael.
Right.
We should do an episode that's all animals with human names and be like, "Who's Michael?" And then
Right,
it's like
yeah.
zoom in on the fish. Who's Parker? And then it's a sea lion. That would be
Michael
good.
is so funny for like Parker. I don't know
Yeah.
why that makes more sense to me. We have I think they call the balloonfish Fred. I've heard too. The
Oh, really?
balloonfish in tropical.
What about Mr. Moo?
Mr. Moo Moo? He's Mr. Moo Moo.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's two moos. I did not know.
Have you gotten to meet any animals up close before?
One of the sea lions, I think it was Miller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Aw.
yeah.
Miller was our big dominant male before Parker. I never met him, but I've seen a lot of pictures. There's, I guess, Linda, who's one of our longtime volunteers, was telling me this story about how Miller used to sleep in front of the door so that people would come in and feed them, and he would just go take a
would be
nap
the
in front of
first.
the door. No, and so no one could get out. So he was like, "You gotta feed me forever," It's like hang out right there.
They're smart.
Yeah, and he would just
Yeah.
go to sleep, and I was like, "That's actually a great idea. I don't. It's a
Right.
good idea."
That's
So.
so funny. I think the number one question we got for you is people want to know all about cleaning the blue whale. And by the blue whale, I mean our blue whale model that hangs in our Great Hall. It was placed there in 1998, I think, right before we opened. And it doesn't come down. It is up there. So
And it's life size.
And it's life
It's
size.
life
It's
size,
like
yeah.
accurate
It's
to a
huge.
blue whale, the largest mammal on the planet, is hanging from the ceiling. Two whales, actually, that you need to
two
clean.
whales that need
So-
clean. And so just like everywhere else in the aquarium that can get maybe dusty time to time, or no one's up there touching it at least, but how do we clean something that's hanging from the ceiling?
It's in the middle of the ceiling.
Yeah.
too.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we have to get on the scissor lift, and there's usually two people. I've been up there numerous times, me and Alfie. Alfie's been up there with Nicole. We've been up there with other staff members, and it seems it's easy for us, but it might seem hard when we use dusters, and we just tediously go and
Dust
dust
the whale.
in sections
Dust the
until
whale.
we get the dust off that section, and we move on to the next. And
All the
Yeah,
way down. Do you
yeah.
start from the head and the tail, or
we start at the tail,
Start at the
and we
tail,
do
work
one side,
Mhm.
and we go all the way over, and then we come on the other side and do the whole side like
have
that.
you found anything up there before that has made
Not
its
that
way?
Airplanes.
I was gonna say.
Paper airplanes. I wonder where
We
those
have an
came
airplane
from.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have paper airplane contests in the morning sometime here before we open. So I have seen several paper airplanes. And how often do we clean the blue whale? Once a year usually, or is it a couple times a year?
No, I would say a couple times a year.
A couple times a year. So yeah, sometimes it'll happen because you guys are about to. Are you about to clean it, or did you just finish?
No, they're like painting it.
Oh,
It's getting ready to get painted.
Whoa!
Yeah.
They're painting.
They started last night. Yeah.
News drop on Aquarium of the Podcific. The whale is getting a makeover.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So then we're gonna do. So then that'll at least align with the cleaning of it and our paper airplane contest. So one does end up there on
So
after
just
tomorrow.
throw them all on the whale.
Right.
No, don't throw them on the
Right.
whale.
Yeah, the
So
only
you guys
thing-
get up there and you dust it very meticulously. I'm excited to see what it'll look like painted.
I know.
Is that
me
the first
too.
time we've painted
Since
her?
I've been here.
Wow.
Almost 19 years I've been here. We've never painted it.
How are they painting? Are they going to take it down?
No.
They're going to go up and like. That's crazy.
I think until
Maybe
like
they might
4
spray-
a.m.
They
every
could
day.
probably spray it.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes way more sense. It's like a
I gotta
little
get some
brush.
video of that.
When you go out there, if you look on the far side, you can see where they actually started doing some sanding.
I love this.
Yeah.
Just getting a
This
makeover.
is good tea. Like I didn't know we were painting the whale. Now we know. That's cool. It's gonna be pink.
I love it.
Change the color of the whale. Yeah, it's not a blue whale anymore.
It's not a blue
pink
whale
whale
anymore.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, I have. Can I please ask the
Please.
question?
Uh-oh.
I have
Oh my gosh.
been dying to ask about. So earlier we asked Keisha, "Hey, do you have any stories that are funny about your time here?" And Keisha said that one time something really funny happened, and I have been just dying all day to hear the story. So, Keisha, will you please tell us the story? And I'm so excited.
You're shaking.
I know, vibrating with excitement. I'm just like, this is gonna be good.
I was thinking about that, and when you guys was like stories, and I'm like, I only have one, and this was like the funniest to
This
me.
is the one.
So I was working swing shift, and a lot of times on swing shift we do a lot of dusting in the galleries as well. Before COVID, after COVID, and our changing gallery, which is now art gallery, it was our changing gallery. I forgot what it was called then, but it had round rays in it, the small ones. Remember they had the touch tank? Are you guys familiar with the touch
I
tank?
remember.
And the door to get into the back of the round rays was locked. And I'm like, I need to get in this over here. I could have called security. But I'm like, I can just climb
I know, I
over.
can just-
So they would put these plastic covers on it at night. And I took initiative to climb over the plastic covers. And right when I got in the middle, they broke and I fell in. Wait, not to mention Alfie was with me and he
Seeing
was
the whole
laughing
thing.
like crazy. He made me feel so bad. Oh my gosh. My phone was in my pocket, everything. I was soaked. I had to go home and change. I was,
Also, the fact that it waited till you were in the
Yes,
middle,
yeah,
you're
of
like,
course.
could have broken right away and I would not have been soaked, but no.
So I can say I swam with the rays.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my goodness. I actually, that is a better story than I thought. I was like, where could you have possibly fallen in? All the context was, I fell into an
Yeah,
exhibit,
yeah.
and I'll tell you about it later. And I was like, I need to know. Oh
Were
my
you
goodness.
okay? Were the rays okay? Was
Yeah,
everybody
we were all okay.
Good.
You had a heart-to-heart while you're down there with them?
exactly, yeah, just-
How you guys doing? You're good? All right.
Good. Me too.
I'm going to go home and change.
And
I
I'm
should have
never gonna
named
do
one
that
of them
again.
Michael.
While you're down there. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
That's
my
amazing.
goodness.
That's incredible. Oh, I love that so much.
That's a really good story.
Have
Yeah,
you ever
but it's-
fallen into an exhibit?
I've slowly, you know how like sometimes, yeah,
Slowly.
well, it's always worse because
Yeah.
like if you fall and you're like, whoa, I slipped in, then you're like, cool, I just,
You just
fell.
see it
Yeah, but there's been
happening.
a time, so on our sea lion pinniped exhibit, we have a ledge that we clean the acrylic from the inside. And we use diapers and water, but it's slippery, and it's an uneven surface because it's like a rock surface. And so I was walking on it in waders, which are also like not very like grip friendly.
Yeah, a little slippery.
And I think I just stepped on a rock that was round and covered in algae,
wow.
and I fell so slowly. Like it wasn't even like, wow, I fell in the exit. I just like slowly sat down into the water to the point where I don't remember who was with me, but they asked me if it was intentional. They're like, are good? Like, they just get tired? And it looked like I just sat. But my waders filled up with water from the inside because they're waterproof both ways. And then I had to like hike out of the exhibit with my pants full of water. So I have sat down in an exhibit by accident.
Slowly.
Very slowly.
Slowly
And I've almost fallen into otters more times than I can count, but thank goodness I haven't fallen in with those guys.
That would not be fun.
No. They probably would be scared, but we can't take that chance.
No.
No.
Well, thank you so much, Keisha, for coming on today. I love hearing about your role here at the aquarium, and we're so thankful to you and your team for doing everything that you do, keeping us safe and keeping our animals safe, too. And hopefully you'll come back on the podcast in the future and tell us more fun stories.
Yes,
About
I
what
will
you
look forward
find.
to it because I was nervous in the beginning, but it was perfect. It was fine.
You did
Just
great.
Like I said, just talk.
I told you it's just talking. Yeah.
Telling us funny
I
stories.
know, making us laugh.
Falling into an exhibit, naming the fish Michael. I gotta go see this
Yeah,
fish
you have to
now.
go see Michael.
Yeah, we got to see Michael. Michael will be the cover photo.
What's his last name? Does he have a last name?
No, but I'll think of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll-
for
I'll
next
come
time.
back.
Ponder.
Yeah.
Ponder.
Yeah.
For next episode. We'll come
Michael, teeth in the throat.
back. It's all one word. Oh, is that French? What is that?
Mr. Teeth in the Throat.
right.
All right. Well, with that.
Thank
my
you,
God.
Keisha.
Thanks,
You're
Keisha.
amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for hanging out.
Aquarium of the Podcific is brought to you by Aquarium of the Pacific, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. In 2023, the aquarium celebrates 25 years of connecting millions of people worldwide to the beauty and wonder of our ocean planet. Head to aquariumofpacific.org to learn more about our 25th anniversary celebration. Keep up with the aquarium on social media at Aquarium Pacific on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
This podcast is produced by Aaron Lundy, Madeline Walden, and Scott Shaw. Our music is by Andrew Reitzma, and our podcast art is by Brandy Kenny. Special thanks to Cecile Fisher, Anitza Valles, and our audiovisual and education departments, and to all of our amazing podcast guests for taking time out of their day to talk about the important work that they do. Podcific wouldn't be possible without the support of the aquarium's donors, members, guests, and supporters. Thanks for listening.